Okay, so get this. Imagine a book so controversial, like it was actually left OUT of the Bible,
Wow.
you know?
Yeah.
Today, we are diving deep to uncover the mysteries surrounding these banned religious texts. We'll be starting with the Book of Judith, using this really cool YouTube video as a jumping off point into some serious scholarly territory, you know?
Right.
You might be surprised how much these excluded texts can teach us about the evolution of faith, power dynamics, and the choices people make when everything's on the line.
What's fascinating about these texts is they weren't just like randomly tossed aside.
Yeah.
They offer glimpses into alternative ways of thinking about spirituality and morality that existed
Mm.
alongside what we now consider mainstream religion.
So let's unpack this Book of Judith, right? It tells the story of Judith, a devout widow who takes some pretty bold steps when her town is besieged by the Assyrian army led by General Holofernes.
Judith is this incredible blend of courage and cunning. She infiltrates the enemy camp and, well, let's just say that she takes matters into her own hands and ends up saving her people. But her tactics involving deception and violence, really sparked controversy.
It's kind of crazy to think that her story was considered too much for the Bible, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what's even more interesting to me is that the Book of Judith is full of historical inconsistencies.
Well, yeah.
Like places that don't actually exist, rulers from the wrong time periods, a timeline that just doesn't add up.
Exactly. It really makes you wonder if it was ever meant to be taken as like a literal historical account
Mm-hmm.
or if it was something else,
Yeah.
maybe an allegory designed to teach moral lessons rather than document actual events.
Right. The YouTube video we're using as our guide for this deep dive really dives into this debate, arguing that Judith's actions, especially the assassination of Holofernes, clash with those traditional biblical values of honesty and straightforwardness.
And this exclusion from the Bible, it speaks volumes about how religious thought has changed over time and how ideas about morality, they can be interpreted in different ways. I mean, Judith's story almost forces us to ask ourselves, do the ends ever justify the means, right? Is she a hero or is she, like, morally ambiguous?
Yeah.
It's a question that still resonates with us today, don't you think?
Absolutely. What makes this even more intriguing is that the original Hebrew version of the Book of Judith is actually lost. We only have Greek copies, which just adds another layer of mystery and debate about, its authenticity and how it was translated.
And this brings us to the whole concept of canonization, the
Yeah.
process of deciding which texts become part of the official scriptures.
Mhm.
You can think of it like a selection committee, choosing which books make the cut for, like the ultimate bestseller list.
Yeah.
The Book of Judith, it ended up in this collection of texts called the apocrypha. Catholics include the apocrypha as part of their Bible, but Protestants, they don't. This difference stems from this long-running debate about, these texts' historical accuracy and whether they fit, like, theologically with the rest of the scriptures.
So we have this controversial figure in Judith, these historical inaccuracies, and then the debate about whether the book should even be in the Bible. I mean, it's a lot to unpack. But what makes the Book of Judith so interesting, even today, is that it grapples with these timeless questions about power, gender, and how far are we willing to go to protect what we believe in?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's not just some ancient tale. It's a story that still resonates, especially when you think about the role of women in positions of power and the choices they have to make in a world that often tries to limit their agency.
Exactly. Imagine yourself in Judith's shoes, right? Society expects you to be passive, but the fate of your people, it rests on your shoulders. Do you play by the rules or do you take a stand, even if it means like pushing the boundaries and defying expectations? It's almost like Judith's story throws down this challenge. What would WE do in such extreme circumstances?
What I think is really fascinating is how Judith's character flips the script on these like traditional power dynamics.
Mm.
She's a woman who refuses to be defined by the limitations of her time.
Yeah.
She steps up, takes charge, demonstrates like incredible leadership when the men around her are faltering.
She's a total badass.
Yeah.
And that's just the beginning of our deep dive into these banned books. The Book of Judith just gives us a taste of the kind of like challenging ideas and alternative perspectives that we're going to uncover.
If the Book of Judith has already sparked so many questions, just imagine what we'll find when we delve into other texts like the Gospel of Mary or the Gospel of Judas.
Yeah, they offer these glimpses into a side of early Christianity that's often overlooked, revealing a more diverse and complex landscape of beliefs than what eventually became the dominant narrative.
It's like stepping into this hidden library filled with lost chapters and untold stories. Get ready to have your assumptions challenged as we explore this fascinating and often controversial world of religious text that didn't quite make the cut for the official canon.
We're about to uncover a whole collection of fascinating texts, each offering unique perspectives and raising really provocative questions about faith, power, and the very nature of truth. Stay tuned as we explore the secrets hidden within these banned books, starting with a closer look at the captivating Book of Judith.
So let's dive a little deeper into this Book of Judith, which we've already kind of established as anything but a straightforward historical account. It's more like a gripping drama, right? Full of intrigue, where this really strong woman takes center stage.
Yeah, it's like a biblical thriller, but with a powerful female lead.
Right.
We've got Judith, this devout widow facing an impossible choice. Her town's about to be crushed by the Assyrian army, led by the fearsome General Holofernes.
And instead of just giving in, Judith, she comes up with this incredibly daring plan. She decides to infiltrate the enemy camp, right?
Wow.
Using her wit, her bravery, and even her beauty to outsmart them.
Talk about a power move, right? It's like she's saying, I'll use whatever it takes to protect my people, even if it means bending the rules and, ultimately resorting to violence.
And that's exactly what makes Judith's story so compelling. And let's be honest, a little controversial. Her actions really push us to think about the limits of morality. Do the ends justify the means? It's a question that has haunted, philosophers and theologians for centuries.
It's like the Book of Judith. It's like throwing down a philosophical gauntlet, right? Daring us to wrestle with these timeless questions about, right and wrong. Would WE be willing to cross certain lines to save the people we love? Where do we draw the line, right? Especially when the stakes are so high. It's something we all grapple with in our own lives, I think, even if, maybe the scale's a bit smaller.
Right, exactly. The Book of Judith, it doesn't offer any easy answers. It just throws us right into this messy gray area of morality and forces us to confront the complexities of decision making in these really extreme situations.
It's not just about individual choices either. It also touches on these bigger themes of power, gender, and religious authority, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Judith's story, it turns the traditional power structure on its head. In a society where women were often expected to be, submissive, she takes charge.
Yeah.
She challenges these expectations and ends up saving her community through her own courage and her own initiative.
It's like she's this symbol of female strength and leadership in a world that, tried to keep women in the shadows.
And it's not just the societal norms she's challenging.
Yeah.
Even the religious leaders in her community are depicted as hesitant and afraid, ready to, just surrender. Judith, on the other hand, she embodies this bold and unwavering faith.
It's almost like she's representing this different way of approaching faith, like one that's active, engaged, not passive or resigned. You know what I mean? She doesn't wait for a miracle. She goes out and creates one. It's like she's saying, I'm not just going to pray about it. I'm going to do something about it.
And that's exactly what makes Judith such an enduring and fascinating figure. She embodies this complex blend of faith, the struggle with moral ambiguity, and just the incredible courage to act, even when the odds seem totally stacked against her.
Yeah. It's like she's a reminder that even in the darkest of times, one person can make a difference. And sometimes the most unexpected heroes come from those who are often overlooked or underestimated.
The Book of Judith, it may not have made it into the official biblical canon, but it has this powerful message that continues to resonate with readers across centuries. It inspires us to question, to reflect, and to find that inner strength within ourselves.
Yeah. It's amazing how one book can spark so many thought-provoking conversations. Now, remember how we mentioned that the Book of Judith isn't the only one that was left out?
Oh, right.
So let's shift gears for a moment and explore another captivating text that didn't quite make the cut, the Gospel of Mary.
This text offers a fascinating glimpse into the diverse beliefs and practices that existed within early Christianity. And it centers on a figure that continues to captivate our imaginations, Mary Magdalene.
Yeah, she's often portrayed as a repentant sinner or a devoted follower of Jesus, but the Gospel of Mary, it paints a very different picture, one that's both empowering and thought-provoking.
In this text, Mary Magdalene, she's depicted as this trusted disciple, someone who received like special wisdom from Jesus and became, a leader in her own right. It suggests she had a like deeper understanding of Jesus's teachings than some of the other disciples.
It's like we're getting this peek behind the curtain of the traditional narrative, and we see Mary Magdalene playing much more prominent role than what's usually acknowledged.
And what's even more striking is that the Gospel of Mary, it like emphasizes inner knowledge and spiritual enlightenment
Mhm.
as the path to true understanding. It's not about blindly following like external rules or doctrines.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating a deep personal connection with the divine within oneself.
It's like a completely different way of approaching spirituality, one that prioritizes personal experience and inner transformation over strict adherence to like external authorities.
Exactly. And this focus on inner knowledge, which is often called gnosis, it aligns with a way of thinking known as Gnosticism,
Yeah.
which was prevalent in some early Christian circles.
So the Gospel of Mary, it provides us with this window into a side of early Christianity that's often overlooked, one that embraces the power of the feminine personal spiritual experience and a different way of understanding the relationship between humanity and the divine.
It's a powerful reminder
Yeah.
that early Christianity, it wasn't this, monolithic, uniform movement. There were diverse beliefs and interpretations circulating. And the Gospel of Mary it gives us this glimpse into one of these alternative streams of thought.
It makes you wonder how the history of Christianity might have unfolded differently if these alternative voices had been given more prominence, don't you think?
Indeed. But even though the Gospel of Mary didn't make it into the official biblical canon, it continues to resonate with readers today. Its message of inner wisdom, spiritual empowerment, and the importance of the feminine speaks to many who are looking for a more nuanced understanding of early Christian history and a more inclusive vision of spirituality.
It's a reminder that there are always more layers to uncover, more voices to hear, and more perspectives to consider when we explore the vast and intricate world of religious thought.
And that's what makes this exploration so captivating. It's a journey of discovery, a chance to, challenge assumptions, and an opportunity to broaden our understanding of the complexities of faith, history, and the human experience.
Speaking of challenging assumptions, let's turn our attention to another text that offers a radically different perspective on a well-known figure, the Gospel of Judas.
This text, as we alluded to earlier, presents a completely different take on one of the most infamous characters in Christian history, Judas Iscariot. Instead of portraying him as like the ultimate betrayer, the Gospel of Judas suggests that he was actually acting on Jesus's instructions, playing a key role in this divinely ordained plan.
Oh, that's a real plot twist. It totally flips the script on everything we thought we knew, makes you rethink the whole idea of betrayal, sacrifice, and destiny.
Right. The Gospel of Judas, it reframes the events leading up to Jesus' crucifixion, suggesting that Judas wasn't this villain, but a willing participant in this much larger cosmic drama.
Yeah.
It's a perspective that really challenges traditional interpretations.
It certainly makes you question your assumptions about good and evil, loyalty and betrayal, and the motivations behind people's actions.
It also, underscores the diversity of beliefs that existed within early Christianity. It showcases this strain of thought that differed significantly from what eventually became the dominant understanding.
Yeah. The Gospel of Judas, like the Gospel of Mary, is a reminder that there were many interpretations of Jesus's teachings and mission in those, early centuries of Christianity. And some of those perspectives, like the ones we see in these banned texts, were ultimately marginalized or suppressed as certain doctrines gained more power and influence.
It's a fascinating reminder that history is rarely as straightforward as it seems. There are always multiple perspectives, competing narratives, and alternative interpretations that shape our understanding of the past.
And by exploring these alternative texts, we can gain a much richer and more nuanced understanding of the complexities of religious thought and how belief systems have evolved over time.
It's about recognizing that there's often more to the story than what's been like officially sanctioned or passed down through generations. Sometimes the most insightful perspectives come from those who were on the margins, the voices that were silenced, or the narratives that were deemed too radical or too, different for the mainstream.
It's like piecing together this giant puzzle where some of the key pieces have been like hidden away for centuries. And as we uncover these, missing fragments, we begin to see a much more complete and fascinating picture of human history.
And that's why engaging with these banned texts is so valuable. They challenge us to think critically, to question our assumptions, and to expand our understanding of the past. They remind us that the search for meaning and truth is an ongoing journey, and that embracing diverse perspectives can enrich both our spiritual and intellectual lives.
It's like opening a window into a world we thought we knew, only to discover that there's so much more to explore, to learn, and to question. It's exciting to think about what other hidden treasures and forgotten stories might be waiting to be rediscovered. Man, what a journey, right?
Yeah.
We've gone from the fierce Judith to the insightful Mary Magdalene and even the mysterious Judas.
Right.
It's really incredible how these, banned books challenge what we thought we knew about religious history. They're like these hidden gems offering a whole new perspective.
What I think is really striking is that these texts aren't just like ancient artifacts,
Yeah.
gathering dust in some forgotten archive.
Yeah.
They're really they're vibrant snapshots of this like incredible diversity of beliefs that shaped early Judaism and Christianity. They give us a glimpse into those dissenting voices and alternative interpretations that existed alongside what ultimately became, the dominant religious narratives.
It's like we've been given this rare backstage pass to see behind the curtain of what's considered, official religious history. We get to witness those early debates, those whispers of what might have been, and those alternative paths that faith could have taken. It's fascinating.
And that's exactly why exploring these texts is so crucial.
Yeah.
They challenge us to remember that history is rarely a neat and tidy story.
Right.
It's messy, it's complex, and it's full of these competing narratives. By listening to those silenced voices and considering those alternative perspective, I think we gain a much richer and more nuanced understanding of the past.
Let's take another look at the Book of Judith, right?
Okay.
It's not just this thrilling adventure story. It's a story that pushes us to think critically about morality, gender roles, and the very nature of power.
Judith's willingness to use deception and even violence to protect her people, it forces us to confront these uncomfortable questions about the limits of ethical behavior, especially during times of crisis. It's a timeless dilemma that resonates even today. Yeah. When is it okay to bend the rules? When does the end justify the means? These are questions that have haunted humanity for centuries.
It also makes us think about the challenges that women faced in these ancient societies and the ways they navigated those often restrictive power structures. Judith's bold actions, they completely defy those traditional patriarchal norms.
Right.
And they present this compelling example of female leadership and agency in a world that often tried to, silence women's voices.
Yeah, and then we have the Gospel of Mary, which challenges the idea that there's only one right way to understand the divine. It emphasizes the importance of inner knowledge, personal spiritual experience, and that profound journey of inner transformation.
It's a refreshing perspective, especially in a world that often seems, obsessed with external rules, rigid doctrines, and blind obedience to authority. The Gospel of Mary, it reminds us that genuine spiritual growth often comes from looking inward and connecting with that divine spark within ourselves.
Well, let's not forget about the Gospel of Judas, which completely turns the tables on this traditional story of betrayal. It suggests that Judas might not have been the villain we thought he was, but rather a participant in this larger divine plan, acting on instructions from Jesus himself.
It's mind-blowing, right? It forces us to question everything we thought we knew about good and evil, loyalty and betrayal, and this complex interplay of fate and free will. Maybe, just maybe, even those figures that history has condemned might have played a more nuanced role than we ever imagined.
These banned texts, despite being excluded from that official biblical canon, they offer us these invaluable insights into this rich tapestry of early religious thought. They remind us that there's always more to the story, more perspectives to consider, and more voices waiting to be heard.
So what does this all mean for you, our listener? It means that our quest for knowledge shouldn't stop at the boundaries of what's deemed acceptable or official. It means that we should never be afraid to question assumptions, explore alternative narratives, and embrace those diverse viewpoints that can enrich our understanding of, history, faith, and ultimately ourselves.
It's about recognizing that the search for truth is this ongoing process. And that often the most profound insights come from unexpected sources, from those marginalized voices, those forgotten texts, those alternative perspectives that challenge the way we see the world.
These banned books invite us to think critically, to challenge those long-held beliefs, and to engage with the past in a much more meaningful and nuanced way. They remind us that the human experience is multifaceted, full of contradictions and complexities, and that there's always room for new discoveries and fresh perspectives.
If you found yourself in a situation like Judith's,
Right.
facing this impossible choice where the fate of your community hung in the balance, what would you do? Would you stick rigidly to those conventional ideas of morality, or would you, like Judith, consider bending the rules, for the sake of a greater good?
It's a question that has no easy answers.
Right.
And that's exactly the point.
Yeah.
These banned texts, they encourage us to wrestle with those moral complexities, to consider the gray areas, and to recognize that life rarely offers us simple, black and white solutions.
So keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep an open mind. There's this whole world of fascinating texts out there just waiting to be discovered, challenging our assumptions and enriching our understanding of the past, the present, and ourselves.
Don't be afraid to venture beyond those well-worn paths. You never know what amazing discoveries might be waiting for you just around the corner. Until next time, keep diving deep.